In this lecture, we are going to look at wildcards while filtering our data in Excel. So here we have the data that we are working on till now. Let's add filters to it. I'll press the shortcut Ctrl Shift L to bring in our drop down buttons at the top of each and every column, which is basically for filtering. Now, before we move to wildcards, let's also get this concept clear that you can add multiple filters together. There's absolutely no compulsion to only have one filter at a time, unlike sorting. When it comes to sorting, you can only have one column determining the sort. But when it comes to filter, you can have multiple columns having different kind of filters. For example, let's say I want to look at my state as only and only Uttar Pradesh. I can simply go put in text filters and tell it equals Uttar Pradesh and click on OK. Now that I have the data only for Uttar Pradesh, I can also add a filter for current status which has to only be recovered. So I only want to look at recovered patients from the state of Uttar Pradesh. I can go to this drop down here, remove the tick mark from select all and put a tick mark only on recovered. So now I have the data only for recovered. And now you see we have the data for the state of Uttar Pradesh for the recovered current status. Both the icons now have this funnel icon which stands for having some kind of filtering applied to that column. We can add multiple filters to other columns as well, and you can have different filters in different columns all at the same time. So unlike sorting, you can have multiple filters at the same time. Now that we have understood this, let's move on to wildcards. I'll be clearing my filter from here and from here as well. Now, let's say we have gotten this data from X person. So let's call this person X. This X person has told us that while entering this data, he has entered everything properly except one patient who has the detected state as Kerala. What he has done is instead of typing Kerala, he has typed in some other character in the place of E. So it can be KBRALA or KCRALA. It can be any character. What has he entered? We don't really know. So he has some kind of character here and we need to use that to understand how wildcards work. Let's say we are filtering our data for only Kerala. I want the misspelled patient also to be visible in my filtering list. So let's say I put in one myself. I have Kerala here. I'll change this Kerala's E to let's say T. Okay, and hit enter. Now this is not the proper spelling of Kerala, but however, I want that to be shown if I select the option of only filtering my data if it has Kerala. How do I do that? The problem here is we do not know what character that E contains. So what is that character in the place of E? We do not really know that. It could be A, B, C, D, anything. In that case, how do we enter our criteria? We cannot simply go to our drop down, go to text filters and tell it equals Kerala. It will give you only Kerala which is spelled correctly and not the one which is not having the proper name of the state. None of the filters here will actually work in that case. You want two results, everything having Kerala and all the states which contain that spelling error as well for Kerala. So in this case, you need to use something called as wildcard. You need to go to custom filter. Under custom filter, at the bottom, you have these two lines. The first line tells you, use the question mark to represent any single character. What this means is, if you put in question mark in your criteria, this question mark could be taken by any character. It could be A, B, C, D, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. It could be symbols, it could be literally anything which is a single character. Focus on the word single because it does not allow multiple criterias or I would say multiple characters here. Only one single character could be anything. To simplify this entire meaning of question mark for you, let's take an example. I'll put in Kerala here. But if I click on OK and mention equals Kerala, my wrong spelling state will not be visible when it comes to the filtered list. What I need to do is change this E, the E that you have here, to a question mark. What this will do is it will allow Excel to show any result which has K in the beginning, then any one character. Focus on the word one, any one character, and then RALA. So it could be KARALA, KBRALA, KC, K1RALA, or whatever the case is. In that case, we have all the correct spellings and the wrong spellings of Kerala displayed in our filtered list. So I'll put in OK here, and once I do that, as you can see, we have the proper spelling as well because it contains some character here, and we have the KTRALA visible as well. So both of them are now in my list. Remember, question mark allows Excel to have any character in that particular place. It will give you the answer, the filtered list for everything which contains any character in that place, K in the beginning and RALA towards the end, that is after the character. This is how we can use question mark. If I had two spelling mistakes, for example, if I go here, let me just go to that cell, double click on it, and let's say I have misspelled R as well, and I have mentioned this as KTQALA. So instead of ER, I have put in TQ here. In that case, if I clear my filter, go back to my filter here, under custom filter, and put in K question mark RALA, this will not give me the misspelled state because R is now fixed. So only and only if you have R here, you will get the answer. But notice how we do not have R. We had something else, right? So now instead of R, I will replace it with again a question mark. So now it could be K, any two characters in the middle after K, and then ALA. I'll click on OK. And now we will have the misspelled spelling as well. The earlier single question mark method wouldn't work. So in case you have multiple characters which could be anything could take place in that particular position, you need to enter that many question marks. This is how the question mark wildcard works. Now let's come to the second line in that statement. I'll clear the filter from here, change that state to again Kerala, which is this one. I'll go to that, edit, and change it to ERALA to have the proper spelling. Now let's look at the second line. I'll go to text filters and go to custom filter. The second line tells you use the star sign, the asterisk here, to represent any series of characters. Earlier, the question mark allowed for only one character to be anything. If I use the star sign instead, I will have any number of characters wherever I use it to be anything. For example, if I want to find out all the locations in this detected state column which contain and anything before it and anything after it, I could simply put in the star sign, put in AND, and again put in the star sign. What this will do is it will give you all the locations which contain some text before and some text after and. It could be 5 characters, it could be 15 characters. The number of characters could be anything. There is no limitation on that, such as it has to be 1 when it came to question mark. The star sign allows for any series of characters. So now if I click on OK, as you can see, we have Jammu and Kashmir. We have Andhra Pradesh here because you have AND here and then HRA Pradesh. You have Jammu and Kashmir as well. You have Uttarakhand as well because you have AND towards the end, and so on. So wherever you have AND, if you have anything before it, or if you do not have anything before it as well, and if you search for anything after it, then also it will be present in this list. So as you can see, if I notice Chandigarh here and look at, let's say, Jammu and Kashmir, Chandigarh has 2 characters before the and. Jammu and Kashmir has a total of 6, that is Jammu is 5 characters plus the space bar, which is total of 6 characters. but both of them are still shown in my filtered list. That is because the star sign could have any series of characters. This is how it would work. If I have to show you one more example, let's clear the filter. And now let's look at any state which contains Uttar, I would say, let's say go with any state which contains Pradesh. One way to do it is by going to text filters and going to contains Pradesh. That's one way to do it. Another way to do the same thing is to go to custom filter, put in a star sign and put in Pradesh. What this means is I want everything which has anything before Pradesh and ends with Pradesh. If you want to filter for a state or a location which could also have any text after Pradesh, you need to put in a star sign there as well. But in this case, we do not have any states which contain anything after Pradesh, so you can simply ignore this as well. Click on OK, and now wherever you have all the states, wherever you have Pradesh towards the end, you will have all of it. And notice how when it comes to Uttar Pradesh, you have UTTAR and a space, that is 6 characters. But when it comes to Andhra Pradesh, you have 7 characters, that is Andhra 6 plus the spacebar 7. But still both of them are visible to you, which means the star sign could have any n number of characters before it or wherever it is specified. This is how the star sign works, and it's the second wildcard that you can use to properly filter your data if you require it. That's it for this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one.